Today's Saturday the 16th of March. It's just gone 7 o'clock in the evening, and then decided to, you know, sort of come out in the woods and share it with you and just have some sort of dirt time knocking up some food. And then there's the box of the food that I'll show you. I'm just going to do some cooking, but I'll show you the cook kit that I brought out actually that I'm going to use for my next 3 meals. This evening's meal, then some supper, and then some breakfast. I've got my stainless steel mess tin, the lever handle, so you can just about see it, and then in that I've got my Dutch Army stainless steel ½ litre folding handle mug, and then inside that I've got the lid, which I made out of a couple of tin foil pie trays that pie came in. I just sort of moulded around the lid, but I'll show you how I'll use that in situ in a little while. And then inside there is the Hexi stove, folded up with the Hexi tablets in there. So I thought I'd make it nice and compact, just use a different kit for a change. Instead of using the common one-man single burner, I thought I'll just do something a bit different. I know maybe these are a bit less efficient, but I just thought, well, I've got the kit, I haven't used it for a while, so I thought I'd use it in situ with this meal that's in here. Okay, a bit of cling film over it just to sort of seal it up. This was in the fridge. I cooked this last night. I was actually going to mix this with it. It's pork in jelly brawn. So it's a real sort of rough and ready chopped up pork that's sort of cooked in this pot. But I was actually going to mix it with the, there's cubed potatoes, carrots and leeks cooked in butter and olive oil. And it was all seasoned with salt and pepper. And then I was actually going to mix the pork with it, the pork brawn, which I bought from a supermarket, and especially to sort of mix with something because it's nice and sort of tangy, real sort of hardcore type, meaty type stuff. So, but I kept it actually in the container, as you can see. So that's the pork. But I thought I'd show you in the container rather than actually cut it open and then put it in there, so it was all mixed together. I thought I'd just let you see the sort of method to, I just thought of the idea. So obviously that's fresh, it's cooked. And so I cooked that last night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that, mix it in with that, and then put it in the stainless steel mess tin just there, and then cook it over the Hexi stove. The next thing you'll see is me igniting the little Hexi blocks with a cigarette lighter, and then just putting them in the framework of the little Hexi stove. So let's rock on and have some scoff. Under the tarp, to the sound of the rain, there's the Hexi blocks. Each one burns for about, you can see them in relation to my sort of index finger, these particular ones. It burns about 8-10 minutes, so I'm going to spark up 2 of those. Another layer of them underneath. Got some cotton wool here that I could actually strike up with a fire steel. This would then catch a light, this cotton wool, and then I'd put one of the Hexi blocks on top. There's the Hexi stove, folded out. You see that sort of folded in, and then just fold that back out again. So that's a two parts. You can actually put that on it for the Army issue BCB mug, which holds it. So I might actually put it on. We'll create more of a level base to put the mess tin on when I'm actually heating up the food. As you can see, I've just ignited 2 of the blocks simply with a cigarette lighter, just offered the flame up to it, and they ignited. So there's a nice little flame there, as you can see. Lovely little bit of visual effect. 4 flames reflected in the wind guard. As you can see, that's sort of flaring up quite nicely. It's waving about a bit, so that means there's a little bit of a draft. But obviously I'm not going to do it, but if I took, as I demonstrated in the last video with cooking using a windshield, if I take this away, the flames will must be a wave about and go sort of from side to side like my finger is. Anyway, I'm going to put the stuff in the mess tin now. Nice and empty, all ready to put the grub in. So the potatoes, carrots and seasoned leeks cooked in butter and olive oil are in the mess tin, and I've just emptied out the pork brawn. I've got to chop that up a little bit more with a spoon. I'll give the dog a little bit as a treat. She's been so good. And I'm going to put that obviously in the mess tin, and then I'm going to heat it up on there. And here that's starting to sizzle now. As you see, I've sort of positioned it in the sort of rectangular shape, so the edges of the stove are parallel to the edges of the actual, well, stating the obvious really, parallel to the actual mess tin. Okay, I changed the angle of the stove so it's sort of lengthways with that. As you can see, I'm putting it in. Give a bit of squirt of tomato sauce. It's steaming up a little bit, so you might not actually see it. Oh, a bit of thunder. We've had some thunder and lightning. So my apologies for not doing this actually in the daylight, but I mean, this is, you know, really in situ. I'd be doing this at night anyway if I had to camp up under the stars in the pouring rain, which obviously I am. But I'll put a squirt of tomato sauce in there as well to sort of tomatoey sweeten it up. And so it's steaming up a little bit now, so you can't see it as clearly, but and the flames are dying down. But I'm really pleased that the food didn't stick, because the oil, olive oil and the butter that I cooked it in, and that's obviously on a low heat, reheating it again just now, was enough oil to sort of stop it from sticking to the mess tin. And then of course with the jelly and some of the fat content that's obviously with the pork, but I mean it was quite lean, and it was nice and chunky, and it wasn't all sludgy, so you know it was quite firm meat. So anyway, I'm gonna eat that now, and that's gonna warm me cockles of me heart. Scoff time, bring it on. Yummy. When it's sort of wet and cold, it doesn't bother me in the slightest, because as I always say, all terrains, all weathers is all part of being in the great outdoors and being in nature. As long as you've got the kit, as long as you sort of preempt things and know how to deal with it. But at the end of the day, we still sometimes get a little bit chilly and hungry, and all gone. That went down an absolute treat. Okay people, it's coming up to about 9:30 on Saturday night. I've got the Hexi stove, and you can see it there. So I'll put the little frame thing on top of it, which in turn enables me to put me Dutch, sorry I had the torch in my mouth then, Dutch Army stainless steel cup. Although the shape around the lid that I've put over the framework of the Hexi stove is mainly for I think it's a BCB or British issue, but if you sort of keep it slightly over then it's okay. And then I've got Hexi block, I'll get that going in a moment. Excuse my talking, I've got a torch in my mouth. I'll go on top of that, which of course once that gets going, it's going to be more heat effective by having the heat underneath the lid heating the water. Time will reduce the boil time by anything up to about 2-3 minutes. It can reduce it by a third if you've got an effective lid, and obviously depending on the size of the vessel that's boiling the water. But I'm now going to make a brew.